Hello, and welcome to another daily devotion as we talk about life is tricky and God sticks with us throughout it. I read this in the Chicago Tribune. It was a letter written by a pastor in response to some parents who had come to him when a child of theirs had come out from a much more conservative Southern Baptist tradition. And here's what he wrote. I'm going to use his words, not my own today. Sometimes I wonder if I'll have a gay child. I'm not sure if other parents think about this, but I do, quite often. Maybe it's because I have many gay people in my family or circle of friends. It's in the genes in my tribe. Maybe it's because as a pastor of students, I've seen and heard the horror stories of gay Christian kids inside and outside the closet trying to be part of the church. Or maybe it's because I interact with so many people who find homosexuals to be repulsive, the most repulsive thing imaginable, and make it abundantly clear at every convenient opportunity. For whatever reason, if it's something that I ponder frequently as a pastor and a parent, I wanted to make some promise to you, to my 2 kids right now. If I have gay children, you'll all know it. My children won't be our family's best kept secret. I won't talk about them around in roundabout ways in conversations or speaking code languages or try to pull the wool over anyone's eyes. I won't try to spare the feelings of those who may be older or easily offended or uncomfortable. Childhood's difficult enough. Most gay kids spend their entire existence being excruciatingly uncomfortable. I'm not going to put mine through any unnecessary discomfort just to make Thanksgiving a little easier for a third cousin with misplaced anger issues. If my children come out, we'll be out together as a family. If I have gay children, promise number 2, I'll pray for them. I won't pray for them to be made normal. I've lived long enough to know that if my children are gay, that is their normal. I won't pray that God will heal or change or fix them. I'll pray for God to protect them from the ignorance and hatred and violence of a world that will throw at them simply because of who they are. I'll pray that God shields them from those who despise them and wish them harm, who curse them to hell and put them through hell without ever knowing them at all. And I'll pray that they enjoy life, they laugh, they dream, they feel and forgive, and that they love God and humanity. Above all, I'll pray to God that my children won't allow the ungodly treatment they might receive from some of His misguided children to keep them from pursuing Him. If I have gay children, promise number 3, I'll love them. I don't mean some token, distant, tolerant love that says stay at arm's length. It'll be an extravagant, open-hearted, unapologetic, lavish, embrace them in the school cafeteria in front of everybody kind of love. I won't love them despite their sexuality. I won't love them because of it. I'll love them simply because they're sweet and funny, caring and smart, kind and stubborn and flawed and original and beautiful and mine. And if my kids are gay, they may doubt a million things about themselves in this world, but they'll never doubt for a second whether their daddy is over the moon crazy for them. Promise number 4. If I have gay children, most likely I have gay children. If my kids are going to be gay, well, they are. God's created them, wired them, planted the seed with who they are. In Psalm 39, He stitched them together in their mother's womb. That incredibly intricate stuff that makes them unique once in a history souls has already been uploaded into their very selves by Creator. And because of that, there isn't a coming deadline on their sexuality that their mother and I are working feverishly towards. I don't believe there's some magical expiration date approaching by which she and I need to somehow do or say just the right things to get them straight or forever lose them to the other side. Today they're simply a younger version of who they'll be, and today they're pretty darn great. Pavlovitz writes, many of you will be offended by this, what he writes. I fully realize. I know that this may be especially true if you're a religious person like me, one who finds the whole topic disgusting. As you've been reading, you may have been rolling your eyes, clicking the roof of your tongue, or drafting familiar scriptures to send to me, pray for me, repent me, preparing to unfriend me, or writing me off as a sinful, evil, hell-bound heretic. But with as much gentleness and understanding as I can muster, I really couldn't care less, he says. This isn't about you. It's a whole lot bigger than you. You're not the one. I waited on breathlessly for 9 months. You're not the one I wept through 100 intimate midnight snuggle sessions. You're not the one I taught to ride a bike and whose knee was scraped and I kissed and whose tiny trembling hand I held while getting stitches. You're not the one whose head I love to smell, whose face lights up when I come home at night and whose laughter is music to my weary soul. You're not the one who gives my days meaning and purpose, whom I adore more than I ever thought I could adore anything. And you're not the one who I'll hopefully be with when I take my last precious breaths on this planet. Gratefully looking back on a lifetime of shared treasures and resting in the knowledge that I loved you well. If you're a parent, I don't know how you respond if you find out that your children are gay, but I pray you consider it. One day, despite your preconceptions and your perceptions of your kids or how you parented, you may need to respond in real time to a frightened, frantic, hurting child, one whose sense of peace, identity, and acceptance, whose very heart may be placed in your hands in a way you never imagined. And you'll need to respond. And if this day should ever come for me, if my children should ever come out to me, this is the dad I hope I'll be to them. As a person who grew up in a very different tradition, whose beliefs were very different than they are today, and who's witnessed many Christian young men and women who have identified as gay, love God immensely. I hope we can all wrestle with that letter John Pavlitz has written. Wherever we are, and whoever we are in this life's journey, around issues of orientation and sexuality, God sticks with us, even through tough and tricky life that isn't always black and white, isn't always clear-cut, and is often messy. But if the foundation of God is love, it all begins and ends there.